Hi friends, I'm so glad that you're here. My name is Elise of Halcom Studio, and we are about to watch the video of my 9 best tips of how to stay focused when you work from home. I really think you're going to enjoy it. But before we jump in, I want to remind you to sign up to become a Halcom Studio Insider. As a Halcom Studio Insider, you will get access to our freebie library, which is full of resources to help you run a more God-honoring business. I really think it'll help you out, and there will be a link below. All right, let's jump in. Work from home. Here in Fort Walton Beach, it is gloomy and a little sad and foggy today. And days like this really make me want to not do anything, lay in my bed, and watch TV. So that is partially why we're talking about this today. I have recently been having a little bit of a struggle just being focused, and when I'm not on my game and I'm not intentionally trying to be focused, I so easily can fall into the trap of just watching TV while I do my work, and then now that I wind up not actually doing any work. And if you can relate to that, then please leave me a comment. I know I'm not alone. So I was just thinking about the things that I do whenever I am doing a really good job and I am being productive and getting a bunch of stuff done, which I do normally. What am I doing? Like, what am I actually making myself do to be able to be productive and get a lot of stuff done every day? And so I came up with 9 things that I do when I'm really focused. And I don't do all 9 of these things every day, but I feel like they will all help you in some way, or at least some of them will help you. So the first thing that I would say, and I've had a blog post about this and a video about this, about having a morning routine. It's not there now, but I will link the post in the description of this so that you can see it later. So have a morning routine, something that starts your day every day so you know you're about to start work. So when you work from home, you don't have the necessarily like the boss and the time that you have to be there to open your shop or to be on your computer and be logged in and time cards and stuff. But you should set yourself a time that you do go to work, quote unquote, even though if it's just in your kitchen or in an office in your house. So have a morning routine, and that would set you up just like you would if you were going to physically go to work. So that really helps. When I roll out of bed and then just start working, it doesn't usually go as well, and I would imagine that's for everyone else. It just gets your mind in the right place to be able to focus on what is coming next. So number 2 is set timers and take breaks. So I don't know how everyone works, but this is a big thing for me. I use a timer. It's called like a tomato timer or a padama something. I don't know. It starts with a P. I'm sorry. I should have figured that out before I hopped on here. But it is a timer where you set a timer for 25 minutes. And then you do not do anything. Don't look at your phone. Don't check your email. Don't do anything for 25 minutes except for work. And then at the end of that 25 minutes, you get 5 minutes. And so you can get up, you can stretch, not look at your computer, send someone a text message back, make some coffee, whatever you need to do. But that really helps me because I know that there's an end. And I want to be able to accomplish as much as I can by the time 25 minutes is over. And it makes me very hyper focused, and I feel like I get a lot more done when I am hyper focused on the one task. It also helps me not focus on a bunch of things at one time, like going through tabs and checking my email and wandering over here and working on my blog and making a logo, like all this stuff. I'm very like, I have 25 minutes. What's the most important thing I have to do right now? So that timer really helps. 25 minutes, I usually do 25 minutes, 5 minutes. Sometimes if it's like a bigger thing, I'll do 45 minutes so I can stay focused. But if it's much longer than that, I feel like I have all the time in the world and I will get distracted. So try the timer out. There's a bunch of them on the web. They have apps for them on your phone. My Fitbit has it as well. So I have a thing called Forest, and so it's a little tree that grows, and if you play with your phone at any point while the 25 minutes, your tree dies and it shows up in your forest forever. And so you don't want to let that tree in your forest. I will also link to that. It's a fun little app. It's free. They have a paid version, but you don't have to use the paid version. So yeah, that is definitely something I would say. Set timers, take breaks. Breaks are kind of important. Reset your brain. Don't take a break for forever though. Get back to work. It's just to get up for a second and reset. Number 3, have a to-do list. I have talked about this before. Definitely have a to-do list. Big deal. They are important. That keep you on track. You use that to-do list with your timer, and now you have exactly what you need to do when the timer is running. I use a app called Todoist, and you can prioritize things and put things in projects, and I've talked about that before as well. Love Todoist. It's super helpful for me, and I feel like it will be for you as well. So you can prioritize things and just know what needs to happen in your day, because if you don't have a plan, you're not going to get to the things that are really important, because the little stuff will pop up and you feel like those need your attention. Like you're sitting in your house and you have all these projects to do, but you didn't write any of them down, but the dishes are looking at you and they also need to be done, but dishes aren't going to pay you. So you can worry about that afterward, because you're working from home, but you're working, and that's important. And so do that. So number 4, create a schedule. We kind of talked about this in number 1, having the morning routine, but your schedule is when you go to work, when you get off, and if you take a lunch break, do that as well. My schedule changes with Nolan's schedule. When he worked days, we got up together at like 5, we did all the stuff, he left for work, I went to work. I took a lunch break, and then when he got home, I got off. That was it. And now he works in the afternoon, so not today, but he works in the afternoon, so he goes in at 2, I go in at 2. I take a break for like dinner. When he gets home, I get off. That's how it works. So whatever your schedule is, it should be consistent. A great thing about working from home is you can plan around other things, but for the most part, you should be able to say, I work Monday through Thursday, or Tuesday through Saturday, or whatever your days are, and those are your work days, and you go in at 9 and you get off at 3, and you take an hour at 12, whatever works for you. It just needs to be pretty consistent to get your mind in the right place, the way you would if you went to a regular job. It just helps get more things done and to stay more focused on whatever is happening. Number 5, know when you work the best. Myself personally, I work the best in the morning. It's hard when Nolan works in the afternoon for me, because by 2 or 3 in the afternoon, I am a little like not feeling like working. So that's a little bit difficult. But when I worked at a regular like 9 to 5 job, I work the best in the morning, and so all the tasks on my to-do list, I would look through them, and anything that required the most brain power, and I still do this, the most brain power, the most effort, things that were going to require a lot of energy from me, I did those first in the morning, because I knew that I was ready to handle those things. And then anything that is very mundane or needs to be repetitive, it just has to get done, but it doesn't require a lot of like deep energy, emotions, or a lot of thinking. Those things I always got done in the afternoon, because I was pretty wore out by then, and if I would have flip-flopped those things, I still would have not had the energy to do the big things in the afternoon. So if you work best in the morning, and you know that, do your big things in the morning. If you work best in the afternoon, which some people do that. If you work best in the middle of the night after your kids go to bed, and that's when you do your job, or your work from home job, if this is a side gig or whatever, that's awesome. Do it then. I know people who work the best at like 9 or 10 p.m. and they just hustle it out. And I know other people that work best at 4 o'clock in the morning. So there's no set time to do your best things, but whatever works best for you, definitely do that. Number 6, have a set workplace. If you're working all over the place, and these kind of go all together because they're very much about putting your brain in the right place, like in I'm working mode. If you have an office in your house, that's awesome. That's fantastic. Go in there, and that's where you work. Try not to do a bunch of other stuff in there. I mean, that doesn't always work. It might be a guest room, it might be a playroom, it might be a lot of things. Probably not a playroom if you're trying to get a bunch of work done in there. Just have a set place. Like, do you sit at your kitchen table? Do you sit in the living room, at a desk, on your couch, whatever it is? Do you have a desk in your office? Just have a place that when you sit there, you know you're about to work. Couch is probably not a great idea just because you sit there to relax most of the time, and so you might be put in that mindset to relax and not work, and you don't necessarily want that. You're trying to do stuff. And so sit in the same place pretty regularly so that you can know, and it'll just set your mind where it is. There's a desk in our hotel room, and I sit there to work. I don't really sit there to do anything else. Sometimes I'll sit there to do like important tasks for like personal life stuff, but like if I'm sitting there, I'm working. And that is where I sit. I get distracted and I don't do as great a job when I decide to sit on the bed or the couch. It just doesn't work as well, and I'm not in the same mindset that I should be in. So try to have a set place that you work. I know everyone's life at home is a little bit different. You may not have the luxury of that, but if you can, try to set a place that is yours that you can work. It's really nice whenever you can set a place that's yours that you can work at, that you can leave some of your stuff out. Like, you can leave your to-do lists out, or you can leave notebooks out that you have things written in. That is not a luxury that everyone has. It's not one that I have currently. I put everything away because we live in like 300 square feet together. So I put everything up into the closet at the evening. But if you can do it. And if you can't, don't. Not a big deal. Moving on. All right. So number 7, remove anything you know that will distract you. If whatever is around and that you know, like, you pick up or you start doing or whatever it is, get rid of that. If the dishes look at you every time you start working, wash your dishes before you start working. Or get away from them so you can't see them. Whichever. I don't care which one you do. Just maybe that's part of your morning routine. You wash the dishes so you don't have to look at them and do them in the middle of the day when they're going to distract you from whenever you're trying to work. Or if the TV is a thing that distracts you, make it a point to not turn it on. Like, have the remote really far away, or don't do your work in the living room if you can, if you have another room to do it in. I have to, when I lived in a house and I worked from home a little bit, not as much as I do now, I went into a room and I closed the door because my dogs want my attention, and I love them, but they are bothering me, and I want to play with them, but I have to do some stuff, and they'll whine at me, and I can't be dealing with that. But if I close the door, they'll go sleep on the couch. Like, not a big deal. Just try to get away from your TV. If your cell phone is distracting you from stuff, leave it in another room. Use that timer, the Forest app, and just like set it so your tree dies if you play with your phone. So just remove things that will distract you. Remove magazines or books or whatever it is that you know draws you away from doing your work. Yes, remove distractions. Number 8, have a time you go in and get off. Okay, well, that I talked about earlier as creating a schedule. So have a time that you go in and get off. We totally already talked about this. Pretty sure create a schedule, when I said that earlier, that's what I talked about. Alright, so we talked about having a time to go in and get off earlier when I said create a schedule, but I'm going to flip that and say create a schedule here is number 8, and that was number 4. So when I meant create a schedule, this is what I meant when I wrote it down, is have days that you do certain stuff. So what I do is on Mondays I do logo designs. We do pre-made logos at Halcom Studio, and I make a bunch of logos on Monday that I will put out throughout the week on my Etsy shop. And then on Tuesdays I do all of my social media scheduling. On Wednesdays I do blog posts, and I do I don't remember what else I do on Wednesday. I have it written down. That's why I write everything down. Thursdays I create emails, and I do blog posts as well. So it's just every day I have a big task, things that need to get done every week. I have big tasks that need to get done. And so I have a schedule like that. If you, make something, maybe all day on Monday you create whatever it is. hair bows or coffee mugs or design t-shirts or whatever it is. And then on Tuesday you do your schedule for stuff like social media. Wednesday you post everything out. Like Thursday you're sending out emails. Whatever it is that your job, your business does, if it can happen like that and you can batch stuff together, your mind will be like set there. And maybe you do 2 or 3 big tasks a day, and you do one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and then one later, so that you can not have to be so solely focused on one thing, but still get big chunks of time to be able to do the things that you need to do. Really, like I said earlier, it really goes back to what works best for you, and whenever you have know when you work the best and what kind of things you can do. So that is create a schedule, not what I said earlier. And lastly, number 9 is a little contradictory to number 6, which number 6 was have a set workplace. Number 9 is occasionally change your scenery. I know that it gets real like humdrum, like boring whenever I work every day in my hotel, and then I'll go to this local coffee shop here called Main Brew, or I'll go to a Starbucks and I'll work there, and somehow a fire has been lit in me because I'm somewhere else. I don't think you necessarily need to do that all the time, because one, you're spending a bunch of money, but if you have it, go ahead. But it also, like, you work from home because you want to work from home, and you want to be there, but you can work from somewhere else. It doesn't matter. Just go on your set time if you are able to, if you don't have little kids or whatever, and you can just go to a coffee shop. Do it. It's fun. It will spark new creativity in your mind to be able to do something new, or to see new things, and your senses will be changed slightly, and so you'll just be able to, I don't know, I really feel like it sets a fire in me sometimes, or all the time actually, whenever I go somewhere else to work. So those are the 9 things I got. Have a morning routine, set timers and take breaks. Number 3, have a to-do list. Number 4, have a time you go in and get off. Number 5, know when you work the best. Number 6, set a workplace. Number 7, remove anything that you know will distract you. Number 8, create a schedule. And number 9, occasionally change your scenery. If this was helpful to you in any way, I would really appreciate it if you would share it with your friends. And I am glad that we got to hang out. Please let me know if anything was helpful. Please let me know what your biggest distraction is, and if there is anything else that you would love me to talk about. Alright guys, I really appreciate you spending your afternoon with me, or morning, I think it's still morning. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye. I really hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, don't forget to sign up to become a Halcom Studio Insider below. Alright, until next time friends, bye.